Okay, back again. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Staya Bhule Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namana Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desataya Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Caitanya Caritamrta is very, very important. We can see the more we read. We want really insight into Srimad Bhagavatam, practical application. Lord Caitanya did it all. So, he says, this is Krishnadas Kaviraj. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has described all these incidents elaborately. I've only presented the specific incidents he has not described. The nectarine drops of Caitanya Mahāprabhu's pastimes can satisfy the senses of everyone who hears them. Praying at the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Caitanya Caritamrta, following in their footsteps. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Caitanya Caritamrta Ādi Lila, 16th chapter, describing the pastimes of the Lord in his childhood and youth. Of course, Raghunath Das is his Shiksha Guru, because this is where he heard all this Caitanya Lila from. They were neighbors at Radhakund, and every day Raghunath would 3 hours recite Gaur Lila, and Krishnadas Kaviraj was there. I don't know if he had a perfect memory or he's taking notes or what. He didn't have a recording device. But this is where he got all the information, so he's very... Next chapter, the 17th chapter, is summarized by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is Amrita Pravaha Bhasya, describes Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes from his 16th year until the time he accepted the renounced order of life. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has already vividly described these pastimes in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes them only briefly. Vivid descriptions of some portions of his pastimes are seen in this chapter. However, because Vrindavan Das Thakur has not deliberately described them, I will do it. In this chapter, we shall find descriptions of the mango distribution festival and Lord Chaitanya's discourses with Chandkazi. Finally, the chapter shows that the same son of Mother Yasoda, Lord Krishna, tasted 4 transcendental mellows of devotional service in his form as Sachinandana, the son of Mother Sachi. To understand Srimati Radharani's ecstatic love for him, Lord Sri Krishna assumed the form of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. The attitude of Srimati Radharani is considered the super excellent devotional mentality. As Caitanya Mahāprabhu, Krishna himself assumed the position of Srimati Radharani to taste her ecstatic situation. No one else could do this. When Sri Krishna assumed the form of the 4-armed Narayan, the gopis showed their respect, and they were not very interested in him. In the ecstatic love of the gopis, all worshipful forms but Krishna are rejected. Among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani has the highest ecstatic love. When Krishna, in his form of Narayan, saw Radharani, he could not keep his position as Narayan, and again assumed the form of Krishna. The other gopis, Krishna just told them Krishna went somewhere else. The king of Rajabhumi is Nanda Maharaj, and the same person in Navadvipa is Jagannath Mishra, father of Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Similarly, Mother Yasoda is the queen of Brajabhumi, and in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, she is Sachimata. Therefore, the son of Sachi is the son of Yashoda. Sri Nityananda occupies an ecstatic position of parental love and servitude and fraternal attraction. Sri Advaita Prabhu exhibits the ecstasy of both fraternity and servitude. Srimati Radharani's ecstatic love for him, Lord Krishna assumed the form of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. The attitude of Srimati Radharani is considered his super excellent devotional mentality. As Caitanya Mahāprabhu, Krishna himself assumed the position of Srimati Radharani to taste her ecstatic situation. No else could do that. No one else. When Sri Krishna assumed the form of four-armed Narayan, the gopis showed their respect, but they were not very interested. In the ecstatic love of the gopis, all worshipable forms but Krishna are rejected. Among all the gopis, Radharani has the highest ecstatic love. And when Krishna, in his form of Narayan, saw Radharani, he could not keep his position as Narayan, and again he assumed the form of Krishna. The king of Brajbhumi is Nanda Maharaj, and the same person in Navadvip is Jagannath Mishra, the father of Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Similarly, Mother Yasoda is the queen of Brajbhumi, and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, she is Sachi Mata. Therefore, the son of Sachi is the son of Yasoda. Sri Nityananda applies an ecstatic position of paternal love in servitude and fraternal attraction. Sri Advaita exhibits the ecstasy of both fraternity and servitude. All the Lord's other associates situated in their original love engage in service to Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. The same absolute truth who enjoys as Krishna, Shamsundar, who plays his flute and dances with the gopis, sometimes take birth in a Brahmin family and plays the part of Caitanya Mahāprabhu, accepting the renounced order of life. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu accepting the renounced order of life, it appears contradictory that the same Krishna accepted the ecstasy of the gopis, and of course this way that is very difficult for an ordinary person to understand. But if we accept the inconceivable energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can understand that everything is possible. There is no need of mundane arguments in this connection, because mundane arguments are meaningless in regard to inconceivable potency. At the end of the 17th chapter, Krishnadas Kaviraj, following in the footsteps of Srila Vyasadeva, has summarized all the Adi Lila pastimes separately. Wow. So, the inconceivable Rupa Jiva Goswami said, you can never understand Krishna unless we accept the inconceivable potency. Lord Chaitanya gave us this achintya veda veda tattva, that simultaneously one and different. So like when we talk to scientific-minded people, materialists, and you tell them Krishna, or God even, created everything, they don't accept that, because they don't accept the inconceivable potency. It has to be something they can conceive of. So the universe is unlimited, so they can't understand how possibly it could be, a small person of any, even, right? Next verse, first verse of the chapter. Let me offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, whose mercy even unclean yavanas become perfectly well-bred gentlemen by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Such is the power of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. There is a persistent misunderstanding between caste brahmanas and advanced Vaishnavas or Goswamis, because caste brahmanas or smartas are of the opinion that one cannot become a brahmana unless he changes his body. Thus we have discussed several times, it is to be understood that by supremely powerful potency of the Lord, as described by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, everything is possible. Caitanya Mahāprabhu is as fully independent as Krishna. Therefore, no one can interfere with his activities. If he wants, by his mercy, he can convert even a yavana, an unclean follower of non-Vedic principles, into a perfectly well-behaved gentleman. And Prabhupada did that with so many of them. This is actually happening in our propagation of the Krishna conscious movement. The members of our present Krishna conscious movement were not born in India, nor do they belong to the Vedic culture, but within a short time, For 4 or 5 years they have become such wonderful devotees simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra that even in India they are well received as perfectly well-behaved Vaishnavas wherever they go. Although less intelligent men cannot understand it, this is the special power of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Actually, the body of a Krishna-conscious person changes in many ways. Even in the United States, when our devotees chant on the street, American ladies and gentlemen inquire from them whether they are actually Americans, because no one could expect Americans to become such nice devotees all of a sudden. Even Christian priests are greatly surprised that all these boys from Jewish and Christian families have joined the Krishna conscious movement. Before joining, they never regarded any principles of religion seriously. Now they have become sincere devotees of the Lord. Everywhere people express their astonishment, and we take great pride in the transcendental behavior of our students. Such wonders are possible, however, only by the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. They are not ordinary or mundane. All glories to Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. I've already given a synopsis of the Kaishore Leela of Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Now let me enumerate his youthful pastimes in chronological order. Exhibiting his scholarship, beauty, and fine dress, Lord Chaitanya danced and chanted as he distributed the holy name of the Lord to awaken dormant love of Krishna. This Lord Sri Gaurasundar shone in his youthful pastime. As he entered his youth, the Lord decorated himself with ornaments, dressed himself in fine cloth, garlanded himself with flowers, and smeared himself with sandalwood. By dint of pride in his education, Caitanya Mahāprabhu, not caring for anyone else, defeated all kinds of learned scholars while executing his studies. In his youth, the Lord exhibited the ecstatic love of Krishna on the plea of disturbances of the bodily airs. Accompanied by his confidential devotees, he enjoyed various pastimes in this way. Thereafter, the Lord went to Gaya, where he met Srila Ishvara Puri. Purport: Caitanya Mahāprabhu went to Gaya to offer respectful oblations to his forefathers. This process is called Pinda Dana. In Vedic society, after the death of a relative, especially one's father or mother, one must go to Gaya and there offer oblations to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, hundreds and thousands of men gather in Gaya daily to offer such oblations, or shraddha. Following this principle, Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu also went there to offer pinda to his dead father. Fortunately, he met Ishvara Puri there. In Gaya, Caitanya Mahāprabhu was initiated by Ishvara Puri, and immediately afterwards he exhibited signs of love of Godhead. He again displayed such symptoms after returning home. Thereafter, the Lord delivered love of Krishna to his mother, Sachi Devi, nullifying her offense at the feet of Advaita Acharya. Thus there was a meeting with Advaita Acharya, who later had a vision of the Lord's universal form. Purport: One day Caitanya Mahāprabhu was sitting in a throne of Vishnu in the house of Srivas Pandit, and in a mood of his own he said, "My mother has offended the lotus feet of Advaita Acharya. Unless she nullifies this offense at the lotus feet of Vaishnava, it will not be possible for her to achieve love of Krishna." Hearing this, all the devotees went to bring Advaita Acharya there. While coming to see the Lord, Advaita Acharya was glorifying the characteristics of Mother Yasachi, and thus, upon arriving, he fell down on the ground in ecstasy. Then, under the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, Sachi Devi took advantage of the situation to touch Advaita Acharya's lotus feet. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu was very much pleased by his mother's action, and she said, "Now my mother's offense as the lotus feet of Advaita Acharya has been rectified, and she may have love of Krishna without difficulty." By this example, Lord Chaitanya taught everyone that although one might be very much advanced in Krishna consciousness, if one offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, his advancement will not bear fruit. We should therefore be very cautious not to offend a Vaishnava. Caitanya Mahāprabhu has described such an offense as follows. Yadi Vaishnava aparada ute hati mata upade va shinde tara suki nyaya pata. As a mad elephant may trample the plants in the garden, so by committing one offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, one may spoil all devotional service he has accumulated in his life. Wow. After this incident, one day Advaita Acharya requested Caitanya Mahāprabhu to display the universal form. He had very kindly shown Arjuna the universal form that he had shown Arjuna. Lord Chaitanya agreed to this proposal, and Advaita was fortunate enough to see the universal form of the Lord. Her offense was that the older son Vishwarupa, he was studying Srimad Bhagavatam with Advaita Acharya, and when the boy took sannyas, she blamed Advaita in her mind that it's his fault. Taught him too much. He became too intelligent, and she thought that was bad for her. She's suffering because of Advaita's teaching Bhagavatam. Srivas Thakur then worshipped Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu by the process of Abhishek. Sitting on a cot, the Lord exhibited transcendental opulence. Abhishek is a special function for the installation of the deity. In this ceremony, the deity is bathed with milk and water and then worshipped with given a change of dress. This Abhishek function was especially observed at the house of Srivas. All the devotees, according to their means, worshipped the Lord with all kinds of paraphernalia, and the Lord gave benedictions to each devotee according to his desire. After this function at the house of Srivas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu appeared, and when he met Lord Chaitanya, he got the opportunity to see him in his six-armed form. The form of Sadbhuja, the six-armed form of Lord Gaurasundar, is a representation of three incarnations. The form of Sri Ramchandra is symbolized by a bow in one hand and an arrow in the other. The form of Lord Krishna is symbolized by a stick and a flute, like those generally held by a cowherd boy. And Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu is symbolized by a sannyas danda and a kamandalo, or a water pot. Sri Nityananda Prabhu was born in the village of Ekachakra in the district of Birbhum, and is the son of Padmavati and Hadai Pandit. In his childhood, he played like Balaram. When he was growing up, a sannyasi came to the house of Hadai Pandit and begged him to have the Pandit's son as his brahmachari assistant. Hadai Pandit immediately agreed and delivered his son to him, although the separation was greatly shocking, so much so that Hadai lost his life after separation. Nityananda Prabhu traveled on many pilgrimages with the sannyasi. It is said that for many days he lived in Mathura, with him. And at that time he heard about Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu's pastimes in Navadvip. Therefore he came down to Bengal to see the Lord. When Lord Nityananda came to Navadvip, he was a guest at the house of Nandanacharya. Understanding that Nityananda had arrived, Lord Chaitanya sent his devotees to him, and thus there was a meeting between Caitanya Mahāprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. A very ecstatic meeting. One day, Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu exhibited to Lord Nityananda a six-armed form bearing a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower, bow, and flute. So, looks like six arms, but one was Vishnu, and otherwise Krishna and Ram combined or something. Thereafter, the Lord showed him his four-arm form, standing in a threefold posture. With two hands he played a flute, and the other two he carried a conch shell and disc, Chakradhar. Finally, the Lord showed Nityananda his two-armed form of Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, simply playing on his flute, his bluish body dressed in yellow garments. Nityananda Prabhu then arranged to offer Vyas Puja, or worship of the spiritual master, to Lord Shri Gaurasundar. But Lord Chaitanya carried the plow-like weapon called Mushala in the ecstasy of being Nityananda. By the order of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu arranged for the Vyas Puja of the Lord on the night of the full moon. He arranged for the Vyas Puja, or Guru Puja, through the agency of Vyasdev. Since Vyasdev is we're going to stop there. Thank you very much. Hare